customer experienced a complete power outage at their home. The power company determined the main breaker was faulty and unable to be reset. The customer contacted an electrician to resolve the issue. Upon arrival, the electrician confirmed the main breaker failure in a 100 amp cross-science panel. Lacking a replacement breaker in their vehicle, the electrician proposed acquiring a matching breaker from a supply house. The electrician quoted $90 an hour for labor plus the cost of the breaker, estimating a total of approximately 2 hours to complete the repair. The customer expressed dissatisfaction with the hourly rate and raised concerns about potential delays in acquiring the breaker, possibly leading to another night without power. The customer then inquired about the cost of replacing the entire panel, mentioning that they had acquired a 100 amp homeline panel. The electrician estimated the panel replacement could take half a day and cost around $500. The customer expressed unhappiness with both the hourly rate and the estimated price, preferring a fixed price for the job. The electrician explained that a fixed price would need to account for unforeseen issues, potentially making it higher than the hourly rate. A fixed price of $250 was offered for the main breaker replacement and $500 for the panel replacement. The customer deemed the prices unreasonable, citing experiences with electricians charging $50 an hour in their former restaurants, and offered $250 for the panel replacement. The electrician declined the offer, stating that they were unable to assist under those terms and departed the property. The electrician responded promptly to the customer's call. The electrician accurately diagnosed the problem with the main breaker. The electrician explained the cost of the repair, including the possibility of needing a new breaker. The electrician offered to replace the entire panel at a reasonable cost. The hourly rate is comparable to the industry standard and the estimate for the panel replacement is fair. Electricians have experience and expertise. Electricians are providing a valuable service. The electricians have to cover overhead expenses. The customer's behavior was unreasonable. The customer was impatient and demanding. The customer repeatedly questioned the pricing, even though it was fair. The customer tried to negotiate a price below cost. The customer insulted the profession by comparing the rates to those of former restaurant electricians. The electrician handled the situation professionally and reasonably. The customer's dissatisfaction was likely due to their unrealistic expectations and unwillingness to pay for quality work. It is important to set clear boundaries and not compromise your pricing or work ethic for difficult customers. When providing electrical services, several factors influence the pricing structure. Firstly, the cost of materials is a significant component. This includes the price of the replacement breaker, which can vary depending on its amperage rating, brand, and type. Secondly, labor costs must be factored in, accounting for the electrician's time, expertise, and overhead expenses. Thirdly, travel time to and from the job site, as well as any time spent acquiring materials, should be considered. Fourthly, the complexity of the job plays a role, as more intricate tasks may require additional time and skill. Fifthly, emergency service calls often command higher rates due to the immediate response and potential inconvenience. Sixthly, local market conditions and competition can influence pricing, with rates varying based on geographic location. When replacing a main breaker, it is crucial to select a breaker with the correct amperage rating and voltage for the electrical panel. The amperage rating indicates the maximum current the breaker can handle before tripping, while the voltage rating specifies the maximum voltage the breaker can safely interrupt. Using a breaker with an incorrect rating can lead to electrical hazards, such as overloading the circuit or damaging equipment. Firstly, ensure that the replacement breaker has the same amperage rating as the original breaker. This information is typically printed on the breaker itself. Secondly, verify that the voltage rating of the replacement breaker matches the voltage of the electrical system. In residential settings, this is typically 120 volts or 240 volts. Thirdly, choose a breaker that is compatible with the electrical panel. Different panels may require different types of breakers. Fourthly, inspect the breaker for any signs of damage or wear before installation. Fifthly, if you are unsure about the correct breaker to use, consult with a qualified electrician. Panel replacements are generally more complex than breaker replacements. Firstly, obtain the necessary permits from the local building department before starting the work. Secondly, disconnect the power to the panel at the main breaker or service disconnect. Thirdly, carefully remove all existing wiring from the old panel, labeling each wire to ensure proper reconnection. Fourthly, install the new panel according to the manufacturer's instructions and local electrical codes. Fifthly, reconnect all wiring to the new panel, ensuring that each wire is securely fastened and properly grounded. Sixthly, install new breakers in the panel, matching the amperage ratings to the corresponding circuits. Seventhly, test all circuits to ensure they're functioning correctly. Eighthly, schedule an inspection with the local building department to verify that the work meets all applicable codes. Common causes of main breaker failure include overloading, short circuits, and age. Overloading occurs when too much current is drawn through a circuit, causing the breaker to trip. Short circuits happen when a live wire comes into contact with a neutral wire or ground, creating a sudden surge of current. Over time, breakers can wear out due to repeated tripping or exposure to extreme temperatures. Signs of a failing main breaker may include frequent tripping, difficulty resetting, or visible damage to the breaker itself. If you suspect that your main breaker is failing, it is important to have it inspected by a qualified electrician to prevent potential electrical hazards. The NEC, or National Electrical Code, provides guidelines for safe electrical installations. It addresses the proper sizing of conductors, overcurrent protection, grounding, and wiring methods. Adhering to the NEC is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems. Several articles within the NEC are particularly relevant to panel replacements. Firstly, Article 220 covers branch circuit, feeder, and service calculations. Secondly, Article 250 addresses grounding and bonding. Thirdly, Article 310 pertains to conductors for general wiring. Fourthly, Article 408 covers switchboards and panel boards. Fifthly, Article 110 provides requirements for electrical installations. Electrical safety is paramount when working with electrical systems. Firstly, always disconnect the power before working on any electrical components. Secondly, use insulated tools to prevent electric shock. Thirdly, wear appropriate personal protective equipment such as safety glasses and gloves. Fourthly, never work on electrical systems in wet or damp conditions. Fifthly, if you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician. Sixthly, always follow the NEC and local electrical codes. When estimating the cost of electrical work, it is important to consider all factors involved, including materials, labor, travel time, and overhead expenses. It is also crucial to be transparent with customers about pricing and to provide a detailed breakdown of the costs. Firstly, obtain a list of materials needed for the job and their prices from a reputable supplier. Secondly, calculate the labor costs based on your hourly rate and the estimated time to complete the work. Thirdly, factor in travel time and expenses, such as fuel and vehicle maintenance. Fourthly, account for overhead expenses, such as insurance, rent, and advertising. Fifthly, add a reasonable profit margin to ensure that your business is sustainable. Sixthly, present the estimate to the customer in a clear and concise manner, explaining the scope of work and the associated costs. The hourly rate for electricians can vary depending on experience, location, and the type of work being performed. Entry-level electricians may earn less per hour than experienced master electricians. Hourly rates may also be higher in urban areas compared to rural areas. Furthermore, specialized electrical work, such as industrial or commercial installations, may command higher rates. To determine a fair hourly rate, research the prevailing rates in your area and consider your own qualifications and expenses. Some customers may be hesitant to pay by the hour, preferring a fixed price for the job. While fixed prices can provide cost certainty, they also carry risks for the electrician. Unforeseen issues, such as hidden wiring problems or unexpected delays, can increase the time and cost required to complete the work. To mitigate these risks, it is important to thoroughly assess the scope of work before providing a fixed price and to include a contingency allowance for unexpected issues. Another approach is to offer a time and materials contract, where the customer pays for the actual time spent and materials used, plus a markup for overhead and profit. This approach provides greater transparency and flexibility, but it requires trust and communication between the electrician and the customer. Effective communication is essential for managing customer expectations and avoiding misunderstandings. Firstly, listen carefully to the customer's needs and concerns. Secondly, explain the scope of work in clear and simple terms. Thirdly, provide a detailed estimate of the costs involved. Fourthly, keep the customer informed of any changes or delays. Fifthly, address any questions or concerns promptly and professionally. Sixthly, document all communication and agreements in writing. When dealing with difficult customers, it is important to remain calm and professional. Firstly, listen to the customer's concerns without interruption. Secondly, acknowledge their feelings and show empathy. Thirdly, explain your pricing and policies clearly and concisely. Fourthly, offer reasonable solutions to their problems. Fifthly, if the customer becomes abusive or unreasonable, calmly end the conversation and disengage. Sixthly, do not take the customer's behavior personally. In some cases, it may be necessary to walk away from a job if the customer is unwilling to pay a fair price or is being unreasonable. It is important to protect your own time and resources and to avoid getting into a situation that could lead to conflict or dissatisfaction. Walking away from a job can be difficult, but it is sometimes the best option for both the electrician and the customer. The decision to walk away should be based on a careful assessment of the situation and a determination that the customer is not willing to work with you in a reasonable manner. In the scenario described, the electrician was not being unreasonable in their pricing or actions. The customer's behavior was disrespectful and demanding, and the electrician was justified in declining to continue working for them. It is important for electricians to value their own time and expertise and to set clear boundaries with customers.